Tuesday, that this day, the 10th of Muharram, is not just in relation to what happened at Karbala. The day is not significant just because of what took place, meaning the Battle of Karbala. This day, the 10th of Muharram, has huge significance in our history and the lives of the Anbiya alayhi salam. If you look at Sayyidina Adam alayhi salam, the Prophet Adam, Abu Nas, Abu Bashar, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepts his forgiveness, it is on the 10th of Muharram. If you take a look at Sayyidina Nuh alayhi salam and his life, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bestows his mercy upon Sayyidina Nuh alayhi salam, his help upon him on the 10th of Muharram. If you take a look at the life of Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam, it was on the 10th of Muharram when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala granted him victory over the Fir'aun. If you take a look at the life of Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salam and Sayyidina Yaqub alayhi salam, it was on the 10th of Muharram when the mercy of Allah and the fadl of Allah was bestowed upon them as they were reunited. If you look at Sayyidina Yunus alayhi salam, it was on the 10th of Muharram when he exited the belly of the whale. If you look at Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam, we've already mentioned him and how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bestowed his fadl upon him. So this 10th of Muharram, it's a great day before the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. This day is called Yawmu Ashura. And as I tried to paint the picture before you, this day, it's been a great day before what took place in Karbala. But when you have the Prince of Jannah, you have the grandson of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Sayyiduna Imam Hussain alayhi salam wa radiyallahu anhu. Sayyiduna Imam Hussain is to make a sacrifice, a shahada, for all sacrifices, a sacrifice which is to be remembered, a sacrifice which is to give lesson to the ummah until the day of judgment. This would be remembered. And a day was to be picked out amongst the calendar. A day was to be picked out amongst the months and weeks in the year for this sacrifice to take place, for this sacrifice to occur. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it so and decreed it so, and it was made muqaddam that such a great individual to give such a great sacrifice, it would need a great day for it to be upon, and Allah decreed that day to be the 10th of Muharram. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decrees the 10th of Muharram as the day for the sacrifice of Imam Hussain. And subhanAllah, this day, why we now remember the sacrifice is because the ulama, they tell us that what he did at Karbala was stand up for the mission of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He didn't, give up everything that he had for his own self because he wanted power himself. No. What he gives and what he sacrifices on this day is for the mission of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Why did he make the sacrifice in the first place? We see Sayyidina Imam Hussain, he is born in the city of Al-Madinah al-Munawwara. And he is born in a time towards the last 7 or so, 8 or so years of the leadership of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So he grows up being nurtured under this tarbiyah of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, seeing how his grandfather takes the reins and leads by example, leads with hikmah, leads with wisdom, leads with his, his sunnah, his way. And when the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam physically departs from this world, then it is the era, the time, the leadership of Sayyidina Khalifatu Rasulillah, Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, radiyallahu ta'ala. Imam Hussein sees how he leads. Then after him, it is the fruitful and the time of Sayyidina Umar radiallahu ta'ala, where Islam reaches all corners of the world. Islam reaches all parts of the world. But I think this is something you'll have to remember. 16 months. So as I was saying, he sees the leadership of Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu. And then he sees the leadership and the service to the Quran of Sayyidina Uthman radiallahu ta'ala. Then he sees his father, Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala, and how he leads by example. And these are the most ideal, the most, the greatest personalities amongst this ummah. These are those personalities. And he sees how they lead. And then his brother, Sayyidina Imam Hassan, for 6 months, completes the 30 years of the Khilafah. 30 years. So 30 years, other than the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Sayyidina Imam Hussein is seeing these greats of our history lead, take the reins, and follow the way of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And then he sees the companion of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, who is also a writer of the Wahy, also wrote when the Holy Quran was revealed upon the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Hazrat Amir Muawiyah, he sees his leadership. And then when Hazrat Amir Muawiyah leaves this world, the wretched individual by the name of Yazid, he takes the leadership, he takes the rulership. And he demands that Sayyidina Imam Hussein pledges allegiance in his hand and accepts him as the leader of the believers. But Sayyidina Imam Hussein, the point being, after seeing what he has seen, after experiencing what he has experienced, seeing the greats of our history lead, he cannot see this individual sit in that same position because he is not fit for it. Sayyidina Imam Hussein, he does not just him, the other Sahaba at that time, the other companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the sons of the companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they also do not agree with this individual being in that chair, being in that position. So they refuse to give their hand in allegiance. And then this individual, he becomes power hungry. He becomes enraged. Why is he not giving his hand in my hand, pledging allegiance to me? So he becomes very power hungry and he's seeing red. And what does he begin to do? He begins to push all boundaries. He begins to do all types of zulm, all types of transgression to get what he wants. He begins to remove the governors. He begins to remove those in key positions, or in all areas. The governor of Al-Madinatul Munawwara, the governor of Kufa, the governor of all these areas are being removed, and he starts to put in position his own people. And he gives them one message: you will do whatever you have to do. No matter what it is, you will do whatever you need to do. Your main goal is to get them to pledge allegiance to you. So this is what they hear from him. This is their command. And these individuals, they are ruthless individuals. They will do whatever it takes. They will do whatever they need to do. They don't care about halal or haram. They don't care about zulm. They don't care about transgression. they will do whatever they need to do to get everybody in line to accept Yazid as the ruler. And this sensitive time. And in the books of Tariq, in the books of history, it's very, very difficult to even do bayan of this, to even read this. Some ulama, when they write history, and they get to this part in history, they get to this place in history, they refuse to write. They say, as for the martyrdom of the grandson of the Prophet ﷺ, this is history that is too heavy for the heart. This is too difficult to write upon. And all they say is, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. And they refuse to write down. The ulama, they couldn't bring themselves to put their pen about what happened, about the zulm, about the transgression that takes place in this time. And those that were able to write, they tell us what terrible, what horrific scenes took place in the Midan of Karbala. And this year, we didn't go through the build-up, we didn't go through what took place. We left ourselves to ponder about the lessons that he leaves behind for us. The martyrdom of Sayyidina Imam Hussein, what lessons it leaves for us. And